There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Fangirl Zone. I'm Sean Fangirl S. Today we are talking American Gods Episode 3. Joining me today for this episode is Gomez Nut Adams, which you may remember from Episode 1. We're having a little trade-off with my co-host this time for this season. And it is so interesting, the different points of view, too, between you and Jennifer. And they will collide in the finale.
I'm sure they will.
It's fun, especially with the fact that both of them have read the books and I haven't. So,
and Jennifer's great. She really is.
Yeah. It's so fun. So we just have to keep her off of the topic of Dune and all is good. So we're fine.
There you go.
All right. Today we're talking Episode 3, Head Full of Snow. The synopsis that they give us sounds so sweet and innocent, even though it's kind of not. Shadow questions his employment when Mr. Wednesday informs him of his plan to rob a bank. And just when Shadow thought his life couldn't get any more complicated, he returns to his motel room to a surprising discovery.
I like how you say that it sounds nice and sweet. It's like they're planning to rob a bank.
Yes, but...
And that's what passes as nice and sweet on today's television.
Compared to what was in the episode, it was like, wait, if you read that, you're like, all right, some shit's going to go down, but...
It can't be that bad.
It was like night and day compared to what was on this. First of all, I want to thank everybody who was tweeting with me, and because the show opens with a woman who's cooking and, up on a stool, and you're just looking at it going, okay, this is not going to be good.
Well, it's like we've all seen Final Destination. We all know what's going to happen.
Well, then there's a knock on the door, and this man is standing there, and the woman's, like, dismissing him, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Anubis. I'm, like, super excited, and I tweet out, it's Anubis. I didn't even tag anybody except the hashtag American Gods. Well, the actual, like, Stars Twitter page for American Gods, they were replying to me for that first thing. They're like, yes, it is. I'm like,
very nice. That's always fun.
It was so fun, though, just tweeting and seeing, like, what everybody's talking about, because obviously I've been waiting for Anubis because I didn't know what form he was going to take exactly.
It is a very different introduction with him here than it was in the book.
Okay. Like,
okay,
how different?
Because, well, this scene does not take place in the book.
Okay.
It's that different. And when Shadow first meets Anubis, he meets him as a dog on the street. Okay, he doesn't recognize him as a jackal per se. I mean, let's face it, if you're walking on the street of America and you run into something that vaguely dog-like, you think dog. You don't think jackal.
Yeah, because it's going to look kind of like a Doberman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, but that's the introduction to Anubis that takes place. So this is a very different kind of introduction to that character.
I thought it was really interesting the way they did it, too. Because the way the woman talked, we find out she actually died. She fell off the stool, but she didn't think she did. And let me tell you, and we'll get into this in 2 seconds, but she had a cat, one of those creepy hairless cats. I'm sorry if you have one of those, but they kind of creep me out. Cats everywhere apparently are assholes. I mean, even in the show, they made sure the cat was an asshole.
All I'm going to say is Bast is a bitch.
I didn't realize that's who the cat was supposed to be.
Yeah, I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, especially once Anubis showed up.
Okay.
Because that kind of cat seems to be the more exotic type. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, okay, yeah, there's probably something happening, and then Anubis was like, okay, that's got it. And then the cat's following them around.
Right.
It's like, there's a connection. It's not just a cat. Come on.
Yeah. I knew there had to be something, but still, the cat was an asshole. But again, like most cats everywhere, even though I had a cat and I loved her, she was kind of an asshole.
Oh, I love my cats. I really do, but I am firmly convinced that cats are sociopaths.
And let me tell you, the opening scene did not change that for me. So Anubis talks to the woman who, interestingly enough, she's like, why are you here? This is a Muslim house.
Right.
And I was kind of surprised because I'm like, okay, I know Anubis is like an Egyptian god. Well, then he explains you grew up and you were taught all of this. You were taught the Egyptian ways.
And you still believe a little bit in the old ways.
Which I thought was kind of interesting showing, because it does say just somewhere in America. And I'm like, okay, so it does show that things are not always 100%. Like, you could change, but you still hold on to a little bit of maybe what you grew up with. Which I thought was a little bit sweet. Until he made this woman start climbing stairs upon stairs upon stairs. I'm like, man, I'd have been out of breath and been like, hold on.
Go on without me. I'm good. I'll catch up.
I'm already dead. I can't catch my breath. Hold on.
But the question is, do you get tired if you're dead?
Oh, that's true. I probably still would. I'm just so out of shape. So they get up and of course it's the scales of justice. They're going to, which I know that's not exactly what it's called. If she's going to go on to whatever their version of heaven is.
Or moving on into the afterlife.
Okay.
As having her soul devoured.
Okay. Because she has to weigh her heart against the feather. Which I always thought that was a really interesting visual.
There's a great line in the book where they talk about that. Mm-hmm. And he's like, that doesn't seem really fair. It's like, oh, we have this feather special made. It's a really heavy feather.
Yeah, I mean, he just, like, reaches into the woman's chest and pulls it out. And I love it. She's like, I was using that. She wasn't, like, mad about it. She's just kind of like, what the heck? A little warning.
Like, come on!
And then she was a little nervous when he goes to wait. And she's like, yeah. I was unkind to the first boy who loved me. And I was like, you know what? Everybody, I think, has that fear. Like, at some point, especially when you're getting to, I would say...
We all have the sins we carry.
Yes, I'd say the end of your life, you're thinking about everything you did bad and did you do enough good.
And you know, and it was just like, you didn't kill anybody.
Right.
I think we're going to be okay.
Well, of course, she was even, and she was able to choose, and there's, 5 doors.
Yep, and she doesn't want to go to the door that her father is in.
Which I thought that was kind of weird the way she said it, because if he was weighed the same as she was, and she says he beat me as a child, do you think he'd be in the same place? I don't know. I feel like that.
You would hope not.
Right.
But how much evil is that?
Okay. I guess it's varying shades of gray.
And what does she remember versus what actually happened? I'm not trying to give a pass to child abuse.
No, I understand what you're saying, though. Yeah. But I love it. She's like, you choose for me. And this is where I get you'll get what I'm saying, I should say, about cats being assholes. So he chooses the door. She goes to it. And she's like, but is it right? And the cat just, like, pushes her in.
It's like, come on.
And I'm like, see?
Race to daylight.
Right there. Like, cat will knock stuff off the table as it's looking at you. Just knock that glass off. Like, what? What
are you going to do? Come on.
Which, I'm sorry, and I do have to throw this out. This is why I think it's funny when people say, the whole Flat Earth Society thing. Like, if the Earth was flat, cats would have knocked everything off it by now. Come on.
I also I think the idea about cats also being that they're nature's perfect killing machine. They also happen to be 8 pounds, and people love to pick them up and cuddle them.
Right. So apparently this
cat's
cat...
like, fuck you!
Right. This cat's like, I'm done with you, go.
Don't you know that I have 10 knives as part of my body?
20, if you think about it, man. They could be vicious.
Why are you doing this to me?
Don't bathe the cat. It's really rough. I have scars.
Right.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. So that was our introduction to Anubis, which I feel like we're going to have a whole lot more of him. But I just love the introduction because it was kind of simple and showing exactly what he does.
Absolutely.
And it wasn't anything like super crazy.
And it wasn't evil or it wasn't anything like that. So even he was doing a job.
Right. And he was very calm and made her calm. At least that's what I felt. So it was almost peaceful. Yeah. Let's say that.
Exactly.
And then we get a little bit of Mad Sweeney in this episode.
Poor Mad Sweeney. That poor fucker. Which actually I appreciate because they show more of him than shows up in the book.
It was kind of fun because when he first comes in this episode, he's like asleep on the toilet. It looks like it's an outhouse, but it's, in the bar. It's just like a really crappy stall, I guess. Pants around his ankles and a beer next to him. And he wakes up to a shotgun in his face. I mean, I'm laughing because I still have this visual. He's just, all of a sudden, he's Mad Sweeney. He's going to be a smartass. He's like, oh, you're not going to do anything because if you do, the gun's going to jam or it's going to backfire and blow up your fingers. Like, just a smartass. And he drinks, takes a swig of this warm beer because, I mean, who knows how long it's been there. And then next thing we know, it's like the shotgun did not backfire or jam.
Exactly. And he's got a shard of glass sticking out of his face.
He looked really surprised.
Well, and for good reason. He thought that his luck is such that, of course, it was going to backfire or jam. Because nothing bad ever happens to Mad Sweeney because of his luck.
Until now. Which...
Right. Because something's changed.
Right. But he doesn't seem to notice. He just decides to...
Yeah, he doesn't catch on right away.
Probably because he's drunk.
Well, I don't get the feeling that Mad Sweeney is necessarily the sharpest tool in the show.
He's probably been in a whole lot of fights. Maybe some brain damage. I mean, who knows?
I mean, how many thousands of years of drinking?
Right. And fights.
It had to take its toll. And getting punched in the head,
right. So he's off and walking along the side of the road. And in comes... Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on this actor's name right now. Crap. Because I recognize him from Kids in the Hall. And I'm sure he was from Kids in the Hall. Yeah, he's like, hey, I'll give you a ride. And I love it because he's like, are you a murderer? No, are you? Well, I guess at some point you have to trust each other if you both say no.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, well, maybe I shouldn't take you along, but you look, I mean, no offense to Mad Sweeney, but I would not even stop.
Right.
I wouldn't slow down.
Yeah. I mean, he's going along. Looks like he had the crap beat out of him. Yeah, not exactly the kind of guy who'd be like, hey, jump on in. I'll give you a ride.
No, I said no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
But the guy does explain, oh, yeah, but you go ahead and take a nap. The seats recline, and when you wake up, I'll tell you about the program, because I was once like you. It's like, oh, okay. Sweeney's like, whatever. Just drive. He puts the seat back, and then, oh, what do we see in front of us? A truck. Again, very Final Destination-ish.
Just a touch. His giant metal pole goes flying through the windshield.
Let me tell you, I will not drive behind one of those trucks. I will get in another lane. I will freaking pull over to the side of the road for a while. Something. They freaked me out.
What got me was Mad Sweeney's reaction or non-reaction to this happening.
Right, just like, oh, crap. Yeah, it just kind of looked and just like, this sucks. And he still doesn't catch on to what's happening.
He starts to, though, because they make a mention about, his bad luck. And that's when he starts looking for his coin.
Yeah, he's dropping all these gold coins all over. Again, cops, he's sitting there with a joint hanging out of his mouth, too. With all these cops around and, the truck driver and nothing. He's dropping all these gold coins. Nobody notices this. And then
they're all kind of busy with the dead body.
Yeah, I get that. But you think somebody would hear all this stuff falling and be like, dude, he's got like a ton of gold coming out of his pockets. What's going on? And
nobody notices.
But then he just takes off. Because then he realizes he's missing some shit.
He gave the wrong coin to Shadow.
How does he not know? I mean, shouldn't he have had that? No, like, that little weird jean pocket, that little tiny one that nobody knows what the hell that's for?
Yeah, do you realize how drunk he was?
Okay, I'll give you that. I mean, he was having a great old time with that bar brawl anyway.
We were talking like catastrophically here. Come on.
That's true.
And I mean, I'd love to say the stupidest thing I ever did when I was drunk was give somebody the wrong coin. But.
If only, right? So we do get to see the Zoras again.
Yes.
I say the Zoras because I've screwed up the last name repeatedly. But
they all have Zoya actually kind of is the last name.
Okay. See, I thought that was weird because the way they're listed, it's and I'm probably saying it wrong because I'm reading it as Zora Zorya.
Zoya.
And then they have the different last names. But if
Correct.
they are the sisters, which Jennifer pointed out that they were the Auroras. And I actually questioned that on Twitter, and somebody put up their mythology specifically. Okay. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's really cool that they have it where they're the watchers of the night skies, and they're always watching Ursa Minor?
Ursa Major.
Major, okay. I was like, wrong one.
No, they're always watching Ursa Major to make sure that he doesn't break free of his chains.
Oh, see, that's funny, because actually this thing that they put up, it does say Ursa Minor, the little bear.
Interesting.
But if the chain should ever break and the dog should ever get loose, the universe will end. Thus, the Zoyas are guardian goddesses.
Yep.
So,
now it doesn't tell you what they're supposed to do if the chain breaks.
I think they're just like, ringing the bell.
Well, we're screwed.
Ring out, you're dead at that point. But we have the youngest. We finally see her, and I'm going to screw this name up, but I kind of feel good because you said Shadow screwed it up too.
Yep.
Polynachnia? Kind of, sort of.
Polychnia, probably.
It's a really long name, and I'm probably killing it all. They have really long names. I'm not very good. But
very
she was so sweet. And she's just like, oh, you gave away your head. Okay. Here, take the moon. It's like,
let me pluck it from the sky for you.
And she did, and she pulls it out, and it's a coin. It's like, what the hell just happened?
It's a Liberty dollar.
I thought it was great. She's like, this will protect you. Oh, yeah, you have to give me a kiss. We're going to do this right now. And she just, like, jumps on it. And everybody...
I've never been kissed before.
Right. Everybody on Twitter is like, dang, she's just jumping on him. I thought it was cute. And then she's like,
That's disgusting.
But kind of nice. What? And again, a lot of people jumping on that comment. Like, I don't think you would normally say kissing Ricky Whittle was disgusting. So, I didn't see him reply. He may have, which he probably got a kick out of that, if anything.
Absolutely.
But
that's great.
I think.
But of course, you have to think like, who does she see? She sees her two sisters in Xenobog.
That's true. And
that's like all of the interaction that she gets. And most of the time, when she's awake, her other two sisters are asleep anyway. So.
And I love the fact that you brought up Chernobog. Because, yeah, once we see him in this next scene, I definitely would not want to see him other than, like, through a peephole and, like, keep going. Because, oh my god. And Mr. Orlando Jones, who is, as we said before, Mr. Nancy, he was having a field day tweeting about this. They're like, can somebody get him a pedicure, a bath, and maybe some breast mints? I was dying because, man, this was something.
Well, he's got nasty old man feet. What do you want?
Oh, my God. It was just nasty. Everything. I'm like, did you ever bathe? Because that's what I felt like. It's like years and decades of just good.
Slaughterhouse.
Ugh.
Years and years of slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
He smells like old cow's blood.
Ugh. Apparently that's like just old crappiness incarnate. I don't know. It was gross.
And that's Xenobog. He's a dark god.
And I'm like, is he sleeping, smoking a cigarette? What the hell is going on?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. But he apparently was awake enough to be like, oh, you want to die now? It's not time yet. And
hey,
Shadow,
go get some more sleep.
Right. Shadow's like, listen, you're old. You may not have what it takes anymore. How about we go, and we'll play again.
We'll go for another play again. If I win, you'll still get your shot at knocking my brains out.
But now you get
but
two.
If I lose, you get to try twice.
And I don't understand why, at first, Chernobog was like, kind of like, what are you talking about? Okay, wait, let me rewind. I understand why he was like, what are you talking about? But I don't understand why he agreed to it. Do you think it was just like he kept goading him into it?
Oh, that's a bit of it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Also you have to understand that in the book at least, Xenobog is completely retired.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so he's not working at the slaughterhouse at all anymore.
Okay.
So Shadow goads him into the second game by saying, how long has it been since you actually lifted that hammer? How long has it been since you actually killed anything?
Okay, that makes more sense to me.
Okay. But here it makes sense too. It's like, how long has it been since you actually swung that hammer at something? Because all you've been doing is using that bolt gun. You're probably rusty.
Yeah.
You don't look very strong anymore, so can you actually lift it and swing that hammer to kill me? I mean, you might screw it up. You might just leave me brain dead.
Yeah, I love that. He's like, I don't want to be drooling in a corner.
It's like neither one of us wants that.
Right.
Because you want me dead.
With one swing, because that was the original deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, of course, Shadow plays a little harder and smarter this time, but he also sees a pattern.
Yeah, and that's the key. He realized that Xenobog is playing the same game he played the first game. So Shadow plays more, or at least in the book, Shadow plays a lot more aggressively. It's kind of hard to see that in the show, I feel.
Especially if you're not a checkers player.
Well, and also the cuts back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't see the full game, and I'm okay with that. I don't need to see the full game, but you don't get the sense of how exactly Shadow goes ahead and beats him, except for that throwaway line of, "Oh, look, you're playing the same game, and now I know how to beat you." And
well, he does, and
yeah,
I love
Shadow.
it. Right, Shadowbog's like, "Fine, I'll go with," and then I get to kill you. It's like, oh crap. Like, I don't think anybody really realized that, because I wasn't thinking that. I wasn't thinking that he already has that, deal in place, and so now it's like, oh crap. Now it's like, but then you kill me.
But then it goes back to that original point where, what is Shadow living for?
True.
Okay?
Yeah, we went over
And as soon as he found out that his wife was dead, and she died as a result of the betrayal of their marriage vows,
mm-hmm.
He's kind of just ghosting through life now as it is.
Oh, gosh. But I think a lot of people were really in the same boat as I was. They weren't thinking, okay, he's still going to die. But he's like, all right, I'll go to Wisconsin, and then I'll kill you after. It's like, oh, crap. Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, God. How long is this going to go? Before they get to Wisconsin? That's all I keep thinking. How many seasons are we going to have before we get to Wisconsin? I'm like, crap, Chicago's not that far.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Wisconsin's not that far of a drive.
It's not.
It really isn't.
Unless you're lost, and then let me tell you, it is really that far of a drive.
I mean, you could be in Milwaukee in an hour.
Like I said, unless you're lost. But they're all on back roads, so it'll take a little bit longer. Not by much.
It doesn't take that long to get to
Not that. Yeah, I'm just saying.
I've done the Wisconsin drive.
Oh, all right.
Anyway,
I love it.
Moving on.
Yes. So then next thing you know, Shadow's waking up in the apartment, and he's like, okay, wait, there's no ladder. There's no fire escape that I went up to see the younger sister. What?
It must, and he wakes up, and when he closes his eyes, he wakes up back on the couch, right?
Right. And
okay.
I just loved it, though, because he looks out and he's like, wait, what? But the coin is still in his pocket. So obviously we know it happened, but I think you were saying, I'm sorry, now I don't know if it was you or Jennifer, that anything that we see is because we're basically the point of view of Shadow, and we have to see it to believe it. So this coin's in his pocket, and now, okay, then we have to believe that this happened.
Well, and here's the other point to it. It's that there are multiple layers of reality, and this comes out, and this will probably come out maybe not this season, but probably next season, mm-hmm. where there are times when you can go backstage.
Okay.
And behind reality. And so there are times when there's almost a shift between what we consider the real world
mm-hmm.
and the magical world.
Okay. Oh my God, that's just like Neverwhere.
Yes.
I love that book. Anyway.
So,
okay.
But anyway, that concept comes back.
It does. And it was great.
And you're dealing with gods. You're dealing with leprechauns. You're dealing with all these magical beings. So why can't there be a ladder that goes up at night and isn't there during the day?
I guess that makes sense.
Especially if you're dealing with a goddess who can pull the moon down from the sky and give you it as a coin.
Which was so weird, but it was so awesome.
And he's like, how did you... Wait, what?
What am I seeing? No. What's happening? And if you're dealing with... Oh, go ahead.
Shadow in the book dwells on, how did she pull that off? Because he's into coin tricks.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even put that together. That he's so, they're probably even doing this because he's into coin tricks.
Probably.
To, get him, into his comfort zone almost.
Absolutely.
But we have Cloris Leachman back in this episode. Oh my God. Her and Mr. Wednesday. Let me tell you, Ian McShane and Cloris Leachman. Oh my God.
Ian McShane, Mr. Wednesday hitting on anything with the pulse.
He is so randy. I love. He goes in to talk to her, and he's, gets her to I'm going to say this in like quotes, tell his fortune, because she doesn't really want to do it, but she's like, oh, you're not going to win this time. And he's like, let's go for a walk. It's about to rain. And she's like, yep. Fine. It was weird, though, because, like, he was brushing her hair. He was very sweet to her with everything. And I'm just like,
absolutely.
This seems weird. So, obviously, they had a past.
Well, and Wednesday knows how to get into a skirt.
Yeah, because there was some good line. Although Cloris Leachman, because I have to say her real name because I will kill her character's name. She had the best pickup line, actually, in this. Because they're outside, they're talking, Wednesday's like, when was, or do you remember last time we were like this, or something along those lines. And she's like, I can barely remember when we were young. And he's like, let me remind you. And kisses her, and it starts raining and all this. And then her line, which I'm like, that is the best pickup line, and I want to know how many guys are going to use this, was, I can taste you on the rain. And what else can I taste? And I'm like, oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm like, that's cheesy and awesome. And if Wednesday was the one who said it, I would have probably rolled my eyes.
Well, because she said it.
Because she
was
said
okay.
it, I just thought it was, like, so unexpected and funny.
Yep.
I don't know why.
It was good. I mean, it's like, okay, yes, old people can still be in love with each other. I don't want to say love, because this is Wednesday, and love doesn't really factor into it.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one. I don't think he's loving anybody except the possibility of winning a war.
He's out for himself.
But we still don't know what's happening, because then more weirdness ensues when they go to rob the bank. And, he just keeps telling Shadow, just think of snow. He's thinking about everything else right now because...
Right. But I need it to snow.
Right.
I need you to think snow.
Because they're sitting there, they're like going to eat Chinese, and he's like, I'm not hungry. He's like, who has to be hungry to eat? And I'm like, oh, is that not America? Because I know that sure as hell is me. I'll be like, ooh, cake. And, yeah. Yeah, sometimes self-control is not there.
Yeah. So no, but I think it's a great setup for that scene. And I love the visuals that they went into it to show where Shadow's focus was.
Right, because it went so in depth. You have like a microscopic view of a snowflake and how the crystals are forming. I'm like, that is awesome. But before we get into all that, hold on, let's back that up for 2 seconds. Because as Shadow finally like, fine, I'll eat, he starts digging into Chinese, and in comes, our favorite leprechaun, who looks worse for the wear.
Poor Matt Sweeney.
Oh my God.
Matt Sweeney's not having a good time with it.
No. And wait, didn't Wednesday say something like, don't let him break anything? Or he said something like, kind of random. And he was like, where is it? Where's my lucky coin? Shadow like, what the fuck are you talking about? And he's
like, the coin I gave you. What did you do with it? I need it back.
And I love it. He's like, where is it? Where is it? And then he tells him, and again, I'm going to forget the name of this damn city if I don't write it down.
Eagle Point.
It's like, I threw it on my wife's grave. And then, of course, Matt Sweeney had to go there and be a super dick. Oh, I guess I'm not going to be, I'm one in a long line of men who've climbed on top of your wife. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, you were so lucky he just didn't take those chopsticks and just, like, right into your throat. Because you couldn't have dodged shit this time.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, Matt Sweeney leaves, but not without giving a parting bird.
Oh, yeah. Well, come on. I mean, how many times have people left work and pretty much flipped off their job? And that's pretty much what, Matt Sweeney did. It's Wednesday, because Wednesday is essentially a job.
Yes,
which
exactly.
I thought was kind of funny, because I know I've done that at a couple previous jobs. Walk out the door and you're like, dun, 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 both of them up.
But yes, poor Matt Sweeney just can't catch a break.
No, which it gets better. We'll come
or
back
worse.
to him. That's true. Better for us, the audience. Worse for poor Matt Sweeney.
I do actually appreciate that, because there was none of this in the book.
Okay.
Okay, so the fact that they're actually developing Matt Sweeney more into, other than in the book, it's 2 scenes. Here, we're seeing a lot more interaction between Sweeney and Shadow and Wednesday.
Well, apparently that's actually happening, which with another few people we'll talk about. And I actually enjoy it, and I think that they're doing it more for those of us who haven't read the book. But
I'm sure.
I do have somebody who I'm friends with, and apparently he cannot follow this at all. And he's actually really pissed that so many of the book lovers are saying, oh, it's so great, it's like the book, they're expanding. He's like, I've not read the book. I've not followed it.
Shut up!
But I actually, I had to pipe up. I'm like, I haven't read the book either, but I could follow it because they're telling you what's happening.
Right.
I mean, it may not be blatantly like, this person is going to do this, but, I mean, it's world building, it's character building, and it's not a slow pace of it.
But you also have to pay attention, and that's part of it as well. I mean, this is not something that you can be doing something else and watching this at the same time.
It's hard enough to try to tweet and do this at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
That I almost wish there was commercials so I can do, like, my mad tweets in between, or if I had screeners.
I think I'm taking advantage of the fact that I'm watching this on Amazon Prime.
Oh, okay, so you can pause it.
Okay, so I have the Star subscription. So yes, if need be, I can pause it. More importantly, I don't have to sit there exactly at 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
And say, no, I must watch TV. So if I don't get to start watching until 9:30, I'm fine.
I gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, if you have Amazon Prime and you have the Star subscription, there you go. You can do it that way instead of having to have it on your cable or satellite service. And then you get to do what Gomez did and not have to freak out like me, like try to mad tweet in between everything.
You can pause it, send your tweet. Of course, then you want to watch it at the same time as everybody else. That's the downside.
Yeah, that's just hard anyway. Like trying to hurry up and do it, then the next scene you're like, oh my god, wait, this, oh my god, wait.
There's so much happening.
It is, and we'll get some more because let's talk about that bank robbery and how freaked out Shadow was at first. Because he's like, dude, I just got out of jail like 3 days ago.
Why are you having to walk into the bank with all the cameras? And you said you want to rob it.
3 days.
It's like, no. I told you I was not going to do anything illegal. And I was like, you're not. Maybe some aiding and abetting, maybe some receiving some stolen goods, but nothing illegal.
It's like, no, it's fine, don't worry about it. It's like, oh my god. And I'm just thinking, what is he going to do? How is he going to pull this off?
And of course, having read the book, it was one of those things like, oh, I remember this scene.
This was amazing.
And there's a great thing about this. In the book, Neil Gaiman went out of his way not to show the different cons that get pulled off, except for this one.
Okay.
Because this one was one he made up.
I can totally see somebody trying to do this shit too.
Somebody did.
For real?
And they pulled it off.
Oh my god.
If you Google like Neil Gaiman bank robbery, this was, I think in Canada they actually pulled this off.
Oh my god. Now it's good. How many people are going to try to do this now that this is on screen? Because somebody stupid is going to try to do this.
I think it's a little bit, the first thing, of course, my wife was watching it with me and she's like, where'd they find a payphone?
That was a big tweet. They're like, boys and girls, that's called a payphone. For people who didn't have cell phones.
Which was all of us growing up, pretty much.
And it's really funny.
If you're over 30.
I happened to be at a gas station today, and it's a new gas station, and there was a payphone there, and I'm like, wow, this is
God
weird.
Bless America.
It was so funny.
Anyway. But somebody actually pulled off this robbery.
That was, pretty ingenious. I mean,
absolutely.
The whole thing is to think of snow and have it snow. And, well, it was snowing. That's why I'm like, what the hell is Shadow? Because he was thinking of snow. It started snowing pretty heavy.
Yep.
And all of a sudden we have Mr. Wednesday sitting outside of, was it the broken ATM and the drop box for the night.
And he is the drop box now.
Having people sign for it even. Like, here, sign that I've taken this deposit for you. I'm like, are you kidding me? How is he getting away? How are people just doing this? Where is he that people are so freaking trusting?
Because he's got an official badge and a clipboard.
Big ass earmuffs.
And he looks harmless.
He does.
I mean, he looks like a goof.
And he even had his business cards.
Absolutely.
Which the phone number was to the payphone. And I love it because one of the cops come out and they're like, yeah, I don't trust this shit. Here, call it. And he ends up talking to Shadow, who is essentially across the street.
Yes.
And Shadow is playing the supervisor.
So, and rather than calling the telephone company and saying, can you do a reverse lookup on this number for me?
Maybe the cop is just like, hey, I'm just using my cell. I'm calling this number.
And it's snowing like nothing else. I don't want to be out here with my window open talking to the rent-a-cop.
And suddenly, Shadow even plays it up more. He's like, yeah, it's my guy. Yeah, it's ridiculous. We need to have more people. You sound like a good boy.
He plays it up even more in the book.
Really?
He's like, oh, has Jimmy been drinking again? Because I swear, I mean, I warned him. If he's been drinking again, he's out. He's done.
I just love it. You sound like an honest guy. If you need extra work on a weekend, you give me a call. I was like, oh, my God. Because, yeah, so many cops do have side jobs.
Absolutely.
And so...
And there's a reason why it's called the confidence game.
Yes. Yeah, I took a whole class for my criminal justice degree on con crimes.
I mean, if you don't have confidence, you can't pull off these kind of scams.
It was pretty awesome, actually, watching this happen. And, like, I did not know that somebody actually pulled it off, but the whole time I'm just thinking, what if somebody tried this? So the fact that somebody did, I can't even say, oh, kudos to you, because I feel horrible about that, but it was crazy that happened.
Yeah, and actually in the book they go into a little bit more detail, and because Wednesday says, the best time to pull this off is like at 4 a.m. on a Sunday, when all the strip clubs are closed,
all the bars,
and they're coming to bring the deposits over.
Wow.
He says it's also riskier because then you're going with the bouncers,
right?
But the take is bigger.
I can see that. Now, as they're driving away into the moonrise, it's not even the sunset.
Yep.
And Shadow's like, did I do that? Was it me? And, oh my God, Wednesday was getting so philosophical here. And I was like, I couldn't even keep up. Like, I wanted to tweet, like, half of what he was saying, and I couldn't because there was just so much he was saying. And I'm like, that is so deep.
So, but basically you have two choices. You can accept that you're going mad, or you can accept that the world is mad and doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. Which do you prefer? Would you prefer to know that you're delusional, or that the world as you understand it doesn't make the sense that you think it should?
Then he was also talking about...
What's more comforting?
Yeah, what do you believe? Is what you believe the truth, or is the truth because of what you believe? It's like, that's like some fortune cookie shit right there. It was good. And then this is what was weird, and this is what I wanted to ask you, because all of a sudden, as they're driving in the snow, in this old-ass car, because the windshield wipers were so weird, but the weird shit I noticed, all of a sudden, here comes a wolf or a coyote, and it just stops in front of him, and Shadow manages to stop. Mm-hmm. Is that supposed to be Coyote? Do we ever find out?
I don't think that's Coyote.
Okay.
Because it did not look like a coyote. It looked like a wolf to me.
It looked bigger. That's why I was thinking it was a wolf, because I know coyotes are kind of smaller, but we see them in Chicago all the time. Jason sees them up the rail yard, and he said he thought it was a dog.
No, that was. I'm pretty sure that was a wolf.
Okay.
Which, to be seen on the outskirts of Chicago, is a little bit weird.
You see him in the city.
Okay.
Yeah, which is even weirder, I guess, because, like I said,
yeah, absolutely.
He works in the rail yards and he sees them. So.
But given that wolves played an important part in Norse mythology, there's sort of a question of, was that just a regular wolf, or was that something else? And there's really nothing. I mean, that's not something that happened in the book.
Okay.
So I can't.
So you're kind
say
of there
one way
with
or the
me,
other.
like, not sure.
I'm with everybody else on that one.
That's why I was just wondering, because when he was talking about it and how we talked in the first episode, that I was like, with his name, I felt like maybe he had some Native American blood. That's why I'm like, what if that is Coyote? And how we talked about, that's kind of like the trickster god in Native American. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh God, what is it? Am I going to find out more? Because there's nothing listed with the name Coyote.
There is.
Character
on IMDb.
Oh,
yes,
is there?
Yes, there is.
Oh.
There is a coyote listed.
Because in the official character descriptions, they do not have that for me. Oh, so this should be interesting. We're getting more than I have.
I could have sworn I saw a coyote.
You may well have. And I just didn't have that on here.
Coyote. The coyote. Played by Marilyn Camacho.
Okay, they just don't have it as one of their official gods on here. Interesting.
Well, she only shows up in one episode. And it doesn't say which episode that is.
Come on, they have the airline agent. So I'm like, but maybe they just haven't updated everything. We shall see.
It's possible.
I just thought it was kind of interesting with their back and forth. And then we got something wholly different. And I don't mean holy as in gods. I just mean as completely different. And again, I have to bring this back to that first episode that you and I talked about. The man who was in the diner. I thought we had talked about that he was the incarnation of the buffalo with the fire eyes, which you said was the spirit of America.
Yes.
But when I looked back on that episode, that's the same man who is playing the djinn in this episode.
The buffalo is playing the same as the djinn?
The guy...
I don't think so.
I swear that was the same guy.
Mm-mm.
Unless they look so similar.
That is possible, but I think they're two different...
Okay.
They're two different individuals.
Okay. Because, yeah, just looking at it, because you only see him for that second when Shadow sees him walk out, and then you see the fire in the eyes, which is...
Well, that was the djinn.
Okay.
That is not the same as the buffalo man.
Okay. From the first episode in the diner?
Correct.
Okay.
That is not the buffalo man. That is the djinn.
Okay, see, I thought we had talked about that being the buffalo man, being the spirit of America. That's why I'm like, wait, that's the djinn, which was really fun.
Yeah, sorry.
A fun introduction to the djinn. And I actually have, I linked up an article from Entertainment Weekly that talked about the djinn scene and how Neil Gaiman wrote it, why he wrote it, and how he was really impressed about how they put this on screen. Because he was really surprised that they were able to translate this.
One of the interesting things about this scene was they actually had to reshoot it.
Okay.
The end part. Because... Well, not the very end.
Okay.
But
I'm trying to figure out why. But go ahead.
Okay. So when they did the original scene, they then looked at what the test footage that they had of it, and somebody looking at it said, "We need to reshoot that." And they said, "Why?" Think about where holes are.
Okay.
And what you have there just isn't it.
I gotcha. It just wasn't going to work. Although.
Yeah, physically impossible.
We had Bill Quist in the last 2 episodes and a whole lot of everything showing. Well, the djinn decided to join that little party.
Or as I believe Jezebel put it, we have that American Gods has more dick in it than every show combined in 2016.
Oh, and Orlando Jones actually tweeting about this, going, I think my wife just made a GIF, a meme, and a screensaver, all of that scene. Because, the djinn takes a shower and then takes off his towel. And I was like...
And there's a whole lot of them.
There was. I was like, whoa. I was a little taken aback. Mostly, and I'm going to be honest, because you don't normally see full frontal male on TV. It's like... Because it's always been deemed as too, aggressive. Like, you can see women all day long. But they've always deemed it as too aggressive.
And Starz is trying to bring a little bit of equality to the screen.
And I'm sure everybody out there was appreciating that.
I was waiting to see, I was ready to wake up the next morning to find out American Christians call for boycotting American Gods, do too.
Actually, a lot of people thought because it was supposed to be a
Muslim.
Yes. And
yeah, exactly.
That a lot of Muslims would be up in arms about it. And that's another thing. Neil Gaiman wrote this, what did we say, 20 years ago?
Yeah.
And
17 years ago.
So the fact that he wrote this then, and everything that's happening now in regards to religion and what's happening, like murders, it's kind of crazy.
And what's going on in Chechnya and everything else.
It's just, it's kind of strange. Because especially, almost 20 years ago, the gay community they're still not fully accepted, but they really still weren't. 20 years ago, it was even harder.
Absolutely. Think about it. There was no gay marriage.
Right.
First and foremost. There was not even the beginning of the amount of acceptance that there is now. And not to say that there's full acceptance, because there's not, unfortunately. And just being able to say that, these people can be in love, they can engage in sex, and there's nothing wrong with that.
And this was, I want to say, the man who played the Jinn, Musa Karish, I believe they said this was his first nude scene. But the man who he was with, whose name escapes me, I had it down and I'm an idiot.
So,
this is the second time they've worked together, and this is actually his second, gay love scene. So,
Omid Abati.
Yes.
Is the...
So he said he was more comfortable because he's already done this on screen, but working with Musa, it made it just a little easier to deal with. Which is nice that you're like, because I can see that being just kind of awkward, like, okay, I have to do this on screen. Kind of like when anybody has, like, their first kiss and it's on screen. You're in this room with how many people?
Yeah, exactly.
And, it's got to just be kind of uncomfortable. You're like, I have to be fully nude simulating sex. And it's like, at any time the director could be like, cut, no, your foot was in the wrong place. It's just kind of strange. But, I mean...
You're killing the mood.
Right? But they got so artistic, and that was the thing. Twitter was like, this went like artistic as fuck. I'm sorry, because
it is very much, pardon the hyperbole, probably the best gay sex scene that you've seen on TV.
It was like cosmic porn, because they were like transported to a desert, and they were like cosmic beings, and the Jinn's fire was like going through.
But I hesitate to call it even porn. It was more just erotica.
Yeah. It was just crazy. What? And I'm just watching, and I'm like, this is, like, super artistic. I kind of feel like I should feel more deeply about something that's happening. And I'm just like, this is a Jinn, and this is weird. What's going to happen? Is he turning into something? Because, like, you see the weird cosmic fire, like, shooting through him.
Yes, exactly. It's like the cosmic money shot.
Right. And the Jinn did tell him more than once, I do not grant wishes. But he kind of, sort of, not really did. I don't know.
Yeah. And then he wakes up, and the Jinn's gone.
Yeah. So it's like, did it really happen?
Well, and he discovers that the Jinn has taken all of his things, but has left him an ID as a cab driver.
And the cab.
And the keys to the cab.
So it's like, okay.
So he goes from being a completely unsuccessful salesman to basically having his identity stolen by the Jinn.
But given something that he can at least make money? I don't know. It's kind of weird because the
Jinn made it sound so glamorous.
Right. Yes, saying that he was up 30 hours straight.
And the man, somebody shot in the back seat of his car. I had to clean wet shit out of my car.
Oh, that's so gross.
And you just see, you see poor Salif like edging away, like, where was that?
But what's funny is in that interview that I put up on our Facebook page, Neil Gaiman said he actually had, that's why he put it in, he actually had a cab driver tell him he'd been driving for 30 hours straight. And he actually fell asleep because they were stuck in traffic. So I'm like, oh, okay, so he's pulling from reality. It wasn't too much of a stretch.
Yeah, very much so.
So that was just, I thought it was like kind of a crazy and great scene, even though I'm sure it made some people uncomfortable, but
yeah,
I don't really see the whole, why it would be so uncomfortable unless you're just kind of like.
Because some people are scared of dick.
Well, I guess that's one way to put it. Except Orlando Jones' wife. I just want
to... poor Orlando Jones. He's watching it going, but...
Honey.
Damn it.
So, you would think that after all of that, that would be at the end of this episode. But alas, you would be wrong. Yes, we get back to Mr. Mad Sweetie.
Poor Mad Sweetie.
Down on his luck, leprechaun. Oh, God, yeah.
Digging up.
Yeah. That has to be rough. I'm sorry. I mean, he was, like, seriously digging. Gets down to the coffin and sees a hole. Rips off the lid. Now, I'm like, damn, he's strong.
And the hole is about the size of a coin.
Oh, surprising. Rips off the lid, and there's no body. There's no coin. And he looks really pissed.
As you might.
Now, does he know what happened, or is he just pissed that everything's not there?
Some of them call him A, some of them call him B.
Okay. And then, as you have him just standing in all this dirt and
in the grave.
Yes. We flash back to what sounded so sweet and nice at the beginning of this episode, with Shadow making it to his motel room, opening the door, and who the hell is sitting on the bed?
His dead wife!
Saying, "Hi, puppy." What the fuck? Okay, that was exactly what I did. My mouth fell open, and I'm like, wait. Now, I thought what we had talked about, which I know you weren't giving anything away. I thought
I was trying it.
What had happened was that the coin had somehow given her like her consciousness, a voice, and he would see her and he would hear her. Not that she was actually going to be there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah, and it gets worse.
Oh God, I know you said that she's very straightforward. But we did get a little preview. And we get to see Anubis in this preview talking to her. So I really want to know everything that is said, because that's all we get to see is that moment.
Yeah. Now, I will point out that in the book, she actually shows up much earlier.
Oh, okay. Earlier than day 4?
Walking around.
Oh, okay.
Okay, she actually shows up in Eagle Point right after the funeral.
Well, he did see her, but it was like in a dream.
No. He sees her.
Oh, like physically. She's like, hey,
in
what's
Eagle
up?
Point. And which is why he says, because originally he was supposed to hang around for a week, make sure the house got closed up and all that. And then Laura pops up, and the next day he's like, yeah, we can go.
Let's
no,
bounce.
really.
This
I don't
is
have
crazy.
to stay.
Oh my gosh. This was so awesome. And like I said at the beginning, this is world building and character building, but I don't feel like anything's dragging. Like, they are pulling all this stuff in here, and it's going crazy, and I'm excited for what's happening next.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. But, yeah, Laura's not... Yeah, it's going to be fun.
Okay, now, since you do know, and we did talk about some of the gods, who are you excited to see coming up?
I'm excited. I want more Mr. Nancy.
Oh, yes. I just love
I need more of that.
Okay.
I mean, other than that, I think will be interesting to see if the different Jesuses do show up.
Oh, yeah, he did talk about how there were so many different Jesuses.
You have your white Jesus, your black Jesus, your Mexican Jesus, who's illegal. I was like,
That was horrible, but Mr. Wednesday's like, there's a lot of need for Jesus. Maybe Mr. Wednesday needs a little Jesus, I don't know.
But yeah, that was... I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that happen. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing some more Xenobug as well, because we have definitely not seen the last of him.
I am still curious at this point of what is happening and her reasoning for being there, because she doesn't seem to have a connection to the rest of them as of yet. So I'm sure it's coming.
Part of me hopes that she gets more development than she did in the book.
Okay. Oh, that's what I wanted to mention. Neil Gaiman does say, because he apparently is an executive producer on the show, which is good.
Okay. Yep.
And last episode, Jennifer said that apparently in the graveyard scene, like, Stars originally wanted Shadow to actually get the blowjob. And
yes.
Gaiman's like,
he nixed that. No. Can't do that.
So... he said that they are developing the interaction of the Jinn and the new cab driver now more than they did in the book.
Okay.
So just the fact that they're developing more of these characters, I like too, because we know we have a season 2. Maybe we'll get more.
Absolutely. Because I mean, Bilquis shows up in the book for all of 2 scenes.
Oh, and we've already had her 3.
Well,
kind of.
Really 2.
Well, I guess if you count all the bedroom scenes as 1.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I'm counting that extended scene with.
Okay.
I mean which you probably talked about, that is not included in the book.
Okay.
With her, kind of the extended, but she's much more of a disposable character in the book, and I'm hoping that's not the case here.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm really excited because I want to know what's happening, especially, and I don't know if it's just because she was in the first 2 episodes, she's kind of front and center in the cast descriptions.
Oh, absolutely.
And they're not done alphabetically, so that's why I'm like, there's got to be a huge thing that we don't know. I'm excited. And weirdly enough, I want to see Crispin Glover.
But I can see where they're gonna do a Sean Bean kind of thing with that character.
Sean Bean. Sean Bean.
Sorry.
Ned. Anyway, Crispin Glover, I'm weirdly excited to find out more about his character, Mr. World, because I don't know what it is. He always creeps me out no matter what he's in.
He's very good at that, though.
So I just want to see if he's, like, normal or creepy. I don't know. Is that weird? I think that's
probably going to be creepy. I feel like all of the new gods are going to be kind of have that not quite right feel to them.
Okay.
And we've already seen that, though, with Technical Boy and Media.
Yeah, but I don't know. See, Media, maybe just because she was coming off as Lucy Ricardo or Lucille Ball.
Yeah. No.
So I don't know. It's weird, but I'm looking forward to more Gillian Anderson.
Absolutely.
So here's hoping. All right. So anything else you want to talk about for this episode?
I don't think so. I think that pretty much covers it.
It was crazy. And if you haven't watched it, just make sure you're not watching any of it at work. Because seriously, it is not suitable for work to try to sneak that in.
Yeah, you definitely want to wait for the kids to go to bed before you watch this one.
I hope this isn't a family show for you guys. That's kind of strange, but hey, I guess.
You do you.
Yeah. But we want to hear more from you guys. So send us your emails at fangirlzonepodcast@gmail.com. Check us out, fangirlzone.com, and on the Facebook page, FG Zone. I always screw that up. You can find everything on our webpage with all the links. And, of course, if you remember from the first episode, Mr. Gomez has a little awesome magazine that you can find. And go ahead.
broadswordsandblasters.com.
Yes. And
come check it out.
I'm, like, super excited for all of this. And you can download it on Amazon, correct?
Amazon, yes.
But you can always go on our links on the Facebook, or on our webpage to get to Blasters and Broadswords. Broadswords and Blasters.
Broadswords and Blasters.
The other way around.
Yes, because Blasters and Broadswords didn't quite sound right.
Yeah, it doesn't flow quite right when you say it, does it?
No, it doesn't.
All right, so we are, like I said, rotating up our hosts. So Gomez will be back on our episode 5.
As long as you're willing to have me, absolutely.
It's exciting, and the craziness will ensue, and we hope that everybody is enjoying this, and we will see you, talk to you.
You will hear us later.
Oh, gosh. I haven't even been drinking this episode. Holy crap.
That is your problem.
You know what? It was that gin scene that just stuck in my head. All right, everybody. Until next time.